Okay, we'll get started. We are going to start lying down. You're actually lying down on your front today to begin. If that's not suitable, though, you can lie onto your back. So on your front, it's crocodile pose. So as you come down, we just cross the arms, lower the head down towards the arms, and then the feet at the back, if you can turn your toes out the way, so it's kind of the inner part of your feet that align towards the mat. And you can take your feet quite wide on this to just see how it feels, and just trying to come into a comfortable position. Again, if you don't feel comfortable lying on your front, then you can definitely take it and lie on your back. And then just taking a few moments just to come away from your morning and just beginning to draw your attention inwards. And in this posture, starting to be aware of your body on the mat, and in turn, start to be aware of your breath here. As you inhale, you start to feel the pressure as the belly pushes down towards the mat. And then on the exhale, just feel that slight release as it lifts up. So starting to move into a more even breath. Just breathing in and out through your nose. As the breath starts to smooth out, just beginning to be aware of your body and perhaps any tension you might be feeling here. If you can release that tension a little bit more. So our practice today is embodying grace. So grace is really how we move in yoga. We want to move in a graceful way, if you like, without it being too much like, being a dancer or anything. We're not interested in that. It's just the quality of the movement should be smooth. And at a deeper level, embodying grace really indicates that we want to surrender in the practice and to be accepting of where we're at in the posture. So we're going to begin to move when you're ready. We're going to come, just if you bring your legs a little bit closer together, and if you bring your hands under your shoulders, and we're just going to push up from the ground, and we're going to move back into a wide-legged child's pose. So if you bring your big toes together, and the knees wide, and then just stretching the arms out in front of you. Now, keeping your forearms up off the ground, we're going to walk your hands over towards the right side, just as far over as feels comfortable. And if you can, take your left hand just on top of your right hand. You're starting to breathe more into the left side of your body. See if you can still press the hips back a little bit. When you're ready, move back towards the middle. So we're just going to go the other way, just walking the hands across towards the left, perhaps taking your right hand on top. When you're ready, move back towards the middle. Now this time we're going to take your right arm, so underneath your left. So perhaps laying down onto the right shoulder and maybe the right side of your head. You can always use a block here if you like. And you can stay with that. If you want a little more, you're going to take your left hand on top of your right. So you come into kind of a prayer position and then bend the elbows, bringing the thumbs towards your chest. So we just use that kind of elbow to kind of draw us round a little bit more. And it comes more into a twist here, but you can just see how that feels. If it's too much, release it a little. And then you're ready, slowly release. So come back in towards the center, and we'll do that on the other side. The left arm underneath the right, laying yourself down onto that left shoulder. And again, if you want a little bit more, take your right hand on top of that and then drawing your elbows or your thumbs in really, and using your elbow to pull yourself around. We'll slowly start to release. So coming back into the center, we're going to move into all fours now. So hands under the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. We'll move through a few cat-cows. So on the inhale, drop the belly and pull the chest forwards. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, chin to chest. So grace implies that we move with our breath. So we're trying to align the breath and the movement. When you're ready, make your way back in towards the center, so drawing the belly in. Now take an inhale here, and then we're going to stretch through your right leg, so we're just going to extend it behind you. So maybe having your hip and your foot in line, toes pointing down. So a little bit later, we're going to do warrior threes or balance today, and it's kind of that feeling that you want in your hips. You're keeping the hips level and squeezing through your glutes. If you want a little bit more here, stretch forward, so through the left arm, just lengthening and stretching it away. And if it feels too much, then obviously practicing with that sense of grace, then you would release the arm down. Let's take one more inhale. Now I'm going to slowly release that left hand down. If you turn the toes of your right foot, so you're kind of flexing your foot, and then lower down through that right foot. So you're just going to bring it towards the ground. So we're coming in for a little side plank pec here. If you want to, you can take your left foot and turn it out a little bit more, so it kind of acts like a kickstand. And then we'll start to lift and open through your right arm. Now again, try and make sure that the shoulder is directly over the wrist, because even if it's a little bit further forward, it does put a little bit of strain on it, or further back. And then from there, if you want a little bit more, lift up through your right foot, so extend it behind you. And if you want a little bit more than that, maybe stretching that arm over your ear. And see how it all feels. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Slowly release the hand down. Turn the toes back and in again, so they're pointing down towards the ground. And then place your toes on the ground. So you're going to tuck the toes under on that right leg. Step back into a plank position. We are going to lower to the mat here, so you could lower your knees first if you like. And then bending in your elbows, lower your chest all the way down. So point your toes behind you, and as you inhale, lift your chest up a little bit. On the exhale, just slowly release all the way back down. As you inhale, push yourself up onto your knees, and on the exhale, we'll just make our way back into a child's pose again. Take a little moment there. Maybe taking a deep inhale and just sighing it out your mouth. And let's move back into all fours. Take your time. As you come back in again, then make sure your knees are underneath your hips, hands under the shoulders. Now this time we're going to press your hips over towards the right side, so as far over as you can. Turn your head and look down the right side of your body so you can try to see that hip. Come back into the centre. We'll go the other way, so again just pushing the hip out, turning the head, and then exhale back into the centre. We'll do that twice more, so just take your time, just moving in your own way. And let's do one more. Well done. So come back in towards the middle. And again, we're going to step back with your left leg this time. So just extending that left leg out behind you. So try to align the hips as much as you can. Always pointing down and that belly pulling up. And then if it feels okay, maybe stretch away through the opposite arm. Again, just see how it feels without force. You can always place the hand back down if you need to. Okay, so we'll slowly release our right hand down, turning through the toes of your left foot. We're going to place the left foot so the inside of your left foot is down towards the mat now. And again, you might want to kickstand your right foot out a little bit. And then we're going to lift up through your left arm. Then make sure that shoulder is aligned with your wrist. Side body pulls in. Core really engages here a lot. So rather than relying on your arm too much, see if you can draw your belly in a little. And then maybe start to lift up, so through that left leg. Again, to any degree, you have to lift it high. You can always place it back down. And maybe start to stretch that left arm past your ear. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So we'll release the left hand down. We'll turn the toes in again on that left foot and left toes towards the mat. So tucking them under, come into plank. So from there, lowering your knees down, or maybe just bend your elbows, lower down towards the ground. When you get there, point the toes behind you. And as you inhale, start to lift your chest a little. Exhale, slowly release all the way down. As you inhale, start to press up. So we're coming up onto your knees. This time we will move to down dog. So you can tuck your toes behind you and start to press up and back to downward dog, with the option of moving to child's pose if you'd like. When you come in, start to think about spreading your hands and perhaps moving through your legs. So you could bend one leg and then the other one, but see how it feels to you. When you're ready, on an inhale, we'll lift the heels up. So we're just going to walk up towards the top of your mat, unplugging your hands and folding forwards when you're ready. As you come up, we're going to take your hands behind the back today. And again, you just have to see if that feels comfortable. And interlock your fingers. Start to draw your shoulders down and your chest open a little. Maybe the hands lift up and over. Again, just see how it all feels. Now from there, we're going to come up. So you're going to draw your belly in, start to roll and rise. And again, if it feels too much, definitely release your hands. As you come up to the top, keep with your hands here if you can and start to open the chest more and maybe press gently down with your hands. Okay, let's slowly release the arms. So at the top of your mat, so either feet together or apart, we'll come into Tadasana. As you inhale, we'll reach up with both arms. And on the exhale, folding forwards, bending into the knees as you come down. Take your time. As you inhale here, lengthen forwards through your spine, so stretch it out. And on the exhale, we'll release the hands. We're going to step back with your right leg. And as you step back with your right leg, you could lower your knee to the ground. We are going to come into a lunge here. So either knee up or down, start to lift up through your chest. So again, as you come up, relax the shoulders a little bit. Good, just breathing deeply. And again, we're going to move as if we're kind of moving through water, or maybe something a bit thicker, maybe honey or something. So we're going to twist round towards the left. So just start to move around. As you move around, your right arm stretches forward and your left arm stretches back. So we're going round towards the bent leg. Good. Okay, as you inhale, come back into the center. So reaching up with the arms. Now this time we're going to go all the way around to warrior two. So keep moving around towards the right side this time. And then turn on the heel of your right leg and place it down towards the ground. So you should be in a warrior two position as you come in. So looking along your front hands, opening up through your chest, just breathing deeply. Well done. Okay. From here, we'll just slowly release the hands all the way to the mat. Turn on the toes of your back leg. So you are in this lunge position once more. Okay, very nice. Okay, from there, we're just going to step up to the top. So you could bend your back leg, step forwards. And again, folding forwards. So if you want to interlink your fingers again, you can choose to or not to. Draw your shoulder blades together, maybe lift your arms up and over. And then we'll start to rise up. Again, draw your belly in, lifting yourself up. And then as you get there, open the chest, push down gently through your hands, and then release them. So we'll do that one more time. So when you're ready, inhale to reach. And fold forwards on the exhale. Lengthen on the inhale. Hands down, step back with your left leg. Again, lowering your left knee towards the mat if you would like. And then we'll start to lift our chest up. So draw your belly in, lifting up with your chest. Good. And the arms could go back a little bit, but you just work where you can. If you want to keep your arms down, then definitely do that. Again, thinking of the quality of the movement, we're going to move round towards that right side. So just start to rotate round. We're going really slowly, so you're just taking your time, starting to think about reaching forwards with that left arm and back with the right. Now that when you're ready, inhale, so coming back up, so reaching up. And on the exhale, we'll start to turn around towards the other side and we'll come into warrior two again. Again, moving round, breathing deeply. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So we'll release the hands towards the mat again, turning onto the toes of your back leg as you do that. When you're ready, we'll step the back foot up towards the top of your mat. Folding forwards. Again, one last time, if you want to interlink your fingers, open up through your chest, lift the arms up and over. And then as you inhale, start to draw your belly in and rise back up. Opening up through your chest. And release the arms. Well done. Okay, we're going to come in and do a little bit of balance. Our balance is warrior three today. So if you do want to, you can definitely go to a wall. And there's no props really because our upper body is lifted, but you could use the wall as your prop here and come into it from there. So we'll stand with your feet, excuse me, about hip distance apart. We'll bend into your right leg first and draw your belly in. And then again, your hands closer towards the center will be a lot more secure. So maybe towards your chest. And then we'll start to just float that left leg behind us. As you take your left leg back, you're just flexing through your foot. And then as you kind of lift the leg, your chest moves forward a little. And you might just take it a little bit and just hold here. And the idea is we don't want to take the chest too far down. It's that levelness that we want. So like in that kind of all fours position. So there should be a straight line through your spine and then along through your leg. And the toes flex in the back foot and the toes point down towards the ground. If you want a little bit more, you can reach your arms along your sides or maybe reach your arms forward. But as soon as we take the arms away from the center of our body, we're affecting our balance. So if you're struggling with the balance, definitely keep them towards the middle. Focus your gaze, steady breath. And then gracefully, we'll try and come out of it. So maybe bending into your front leg a little. As you lift your chest, your leg comes down. So it's kind of like a seesaw. So as we come into it, we'll just bring our feet together and our hands together. Take a moment here. Just being aware of how your body's feeling and any thoughts you're having. So we'll have a go on the other side. So again, use the wall or any prop that you need to. Separate your feet a little bit and then bending through your left leg this time. So we'll take your right leg behind. So belly in, hands to the chest, start to float back. So start with a bent knee on the front leg. You can always straighten it out. See if you can keep your back leg straight. So even if it's not very high, see if you can keep it straight. And then if you want to come into it more, lower the chest a little bit and we'll lift through the back leg. Again, the back leg, we want to keep our hips level. So you don't want to lift the back leg too high or lower the chest too much. And then from here, if you want a little bit more, reach back with your hands or reach forwards. But again, work with what feels right. Focus, steady gaze, nice even breath. And then with grace, we'll start to move out of it. So start to lift your chest, maybe bending in the knee, start to lower the back leg. Bring your feet and your hands towards one another. Maybe closing the eyes down. Okay, so we are going to come in and do some standing postures now. If you do want to use blocks here, then just please have them handy. And we will be doing our side plank again, but you could just do the prep. So you don't have to do a full side plank if you don't feel that you would like to. So come up towards the top of your mat. We'll just do a little half sun salutation to move in, but finding Tadasana, spreading the toes and lengthening the legs, release the shoulders. So as you inhale, we'll reach up. And on the exhale, just folding forward, so bending into your knees. As you inhale here, lengthen forward through your spine. And on the exhale, hands down. So we're stepping back to warrior two with our right leg. So as you step back, just finding that warrior two position. So the heel down, the front leg bent, knee over ankle. And then when you're ready, when you feel ready, start to move up. Taking your time, moving into that warrior two. Setting the foundation so that we can sit with grace in it. Again, surrendering to where we are at with it as well. Very nice. Okay, let's take one more inhale. I'm going to bring the hands towards the center of your chest. So your left foot is turned out and your left knee is bent. We're just going to do the same with the right leg. So we're just going to turn through the toes and then bend into both legs as we come into goddess. So shoulders over hips, belly in, the knees gently pressing back a little bit. And you can adjust your feet if you need to. So we'll keep our hands towards the center. And if you'd like, we're going to lift the heels today. So taking an inhale, you might just lift up through your right heel first, just see how that feels, and then lowering it back down. And then try the same on the other side, just a gentle lift. So we'll do that again, so just lift the heel. Well done. Now you can stay with that. If you want to, you could lift both heels up at the same time. So just start to lift the heels up and then lower them down. If it's too much, you're just sticking with either a single heel or you're not lifting your heels at all. And we're just holding in this goddess pose. Good. And then on this last one, if you'd like to lift your heels up and just hold them up. And if it's too much, you're just sitting with the heels down. Okay, one more inhale. And then slowly release the feet down and straighten through your legs. Okay, we're going to turn the toes of your left foot again up towards the top edge of your mat. We're moving back into that warrior two position. Just start to re-bend that front leg as you come in. Now we are going to reverse here. So we're going to move back, right hand down that back thigh, and then that left arm just reaching up. So again, trying to keep that front leg as bent as it was and squeezing through the glutes on your right leg to pull the hip open. If you do want a little bit more, you can lean back a little bit further with your upper body, but again, you just see how it feels for you. And set your gaze steady and focused on one point. Now let's take one more inhale, come back to warrior two. From here, we're going to come into side angle. So moving forwards, we'll take the left forearm down. And today you can either reach up with your right arm or take it behind your back. So you're going to come in for a little half bind. As you do that, you might grab your t-shirt, your hip, whatever you can. If you do want a little more, you can either use a block here and take your hand, your left hand down towards the block. And if you want to try coming in for that full bind, then that left hand goes underneath the left leg and we grab hold of our right hand back in. It's not necessary, and make sure you're doing it with grace if you're doing it. If you're choosing to stay somewhere else, then just be graceful about your choice there as well. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So if you have a bind here, start to release it and start to lift back up. So into that warrior two position once more. So as you come into warrior two, we'll release the hands all the way down towards the ground, turning onto the toes of your back leg or in that lunge. Now we are going to step back to plank here. But as soon as you come back, you can definitely lower your knees towards the mat. So we are going to come into side plank. Now, if you want to bring your feet together, just roll to the outer edge of your left foot and lift your right arm up. If you would like to go do the prep we did before with the knees down, just keep your left knee down and stretch your right leg back so that the inside of the foot goes to the ground, and then we open up through your chest. So any option. And then if you want a little bit more, maybe start to reach that right arm past your ear, just taking a big stretch there. If you are on your knee, remember the back leg can be up or down. Let's take one more inhale. Slowly from there, release your right hand to the mat. Come into plank, so knees up or knees down, it's really up to you. We are just going to lower all the way to the mat here. So just take your time, bend your elbows, release down. You can rest when you get there. So just taking a moment just to absorb everything that's been going on. You can take a deep inhale and cleansing exhale. Okay, when you're ready, we are going to come into Shavasana here, or locust pose. So if you want to keep your arms where they are, keep the upper body down, and then bring your big toes together. As you bring your big toes together, see if you can press the baby toes down towards the mat, so you get kind of an internal opening through the thighs. Now you can stay here, or bring your hands by your sides. And as you bring your hands by your sides, maybe you use your hands to press and lift your chest up. And if you want to lift the legs, just lifting them up off the ground a little. So the upper body could stay down. If you want a little more, reach your hands back, so fingertips towards your toes. Or if you'd like to interlink your fingers on your lower back, like we did before, draw the shoulder blades together, lift the chest, lift the hands. Let's take one more inhale and then slowly release all the way back down. You can bring your arms round again, drop your head down. So we're going to do that one more time. So if you want to, you could just leave it out and just have a rest. But if you can, you want to, start to bring your big toes together again. Either keep the hands where they are or reach them down by your sides, palms down or up, or interlink your fingers. As you inhale, start to lift. Again, try and make sure that you're still practicing with grace, not overexerting, overstretching. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Slowly and carefully release down. Bring your arms back round to rest your head on. Now I'm going to move back up, but taking your time, place your hands under your shoulders, push yourself up to all fours. As you come into this all fours position, you might just want to move your hips a little bit. You could sway them side to side, maybe take little circles. Back towards the middle when you're ready. And then we'll make our way to downward facing dog. Tucking your toes, lifting your hips. Again, maybe finding some stillness in that down dog. Let's take one more inhale. So again, lifting your heels up, looking forwards, step or walk towards the top. So this time as you inhale, we're just going to lengthen forwards through your spine. So start to move up, lengthen through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, holding back in. On the inhale, we'll reach up, so rising all the way up. And on the exhale, we'll draw the palms together in front of your heart. We are just going to move in for the other side. So when you're ready, inhale to reach. And exhale to fold. Lengthen your spine on the inhale. And on the exhale, with the hands down, we'll step back with the left leg to warrior two. So heel down, front leg bend down, set it up, and then move into it in your own way. So again, start to open the chest a little bit, start to draw the front knee open. Maybe you can bend it a little bit more, but make sure that knee doesn't come past the ankle. Okay, let's take one more inhale, bringing your hands towards the center of your chest again. We're going to move into goddess. So this time our right foot is turned out. So we're going to turn the left foot out. And we're going to bend the knees. Again, if you need to adjust the feet and the legs, then do that. And press the knees gently and keep the shoulders over your hips. Now we are going to move through this. So again, just move in your own way. So as you inhale, we're going to reach the arms up. So just a big sweep up with the arms. On the exhale, bring the palms together and draw them down through the center of your chest. So let's do that again. So just moving and breathing. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to bend. And start to think about embodying grace. So what does that mean to you? Maybe it just means we slow it down a little bit. Maybe it means you're just a little bit more mindful of how we're moving. Okay, let's do that one more time. So take your time. As you come back into that goddess pose, you can keep your hands here. You might reach them out to the sides and maybe take your thumb and your first finger just jointly connecting together. Bend your elbows a little bit. If it feels okay, you could take that prayer position above your head. But again, if that causes strain on your lower back, then you would just leave the arms down. Okay, let's take one more inhale. So slowly releasing the hands wherever they are, straighten through your legs. We're going to turn the right toes up towards the top edge of your mat, re-bending the right leg, turn the left toes in. So just make your way back into warrior two again, taking your time as you come in. So as we move to warrior two, we'll reverse it. So left hand down, right hand turns up. Again, it might just reach straight up, or maybe you want to lean further back, but just whatever feels right in your body. Try not to affect that front leg, bending into it as you reach. And the weight is the same between our feet, and the body is just opening up. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Now move back, so into that warrior two position. We're coming into side angle, so the right forearm will go down. Again, today, just that left arm reaching up. And if you want to take the left hand behind your back, then just taking that little bind. And we'll just stay in that bind, so you can simply stay here. If you want to, you could take your right hand down towards the ground, or maybe coming in for that bind. So right arm going under, taking hold of that left hand if you can. Again, with grace, so not grasping, but trying to come in so that you still feel at ease. Okay, let's release the bind if you have it. Let's start to come back up, so into that warrior two position. Well done. Release both hands down towards the mat, so turning onto the toes of your back leg. So we're going to step back to plank again. So as soon as you come back, remember, you can always lower your knees down. So this time, if you're coming into the plank from here, the side plank, feet together, roll to the outer edge of your right foot, and that left arm reaches up. If you want to take that knee version with the knees down, just keep your right knee on the ground and stretch your left leg behind you. So we start to then open up through that left side body. Again, work where you can. If you want to keep your left foot on the ground or lift it up, you can. And that left arm could stretch past your ear, but work with what feels right. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Releasing down, so through the left hand. Again, either with the knees up or the knees down, up to you. We're going to lower down towards the ground. So bend your elbows, release yourself down. And when you get there, just relax. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to start to move up. So you can use your hands just underneath your shoulders. Start to press yourself up just into that all fours position. And as you come in, maybe move a little bit. So again, any movement that you feel you want to do. Now from here, we are going to make our way into a seated position. So you can just bring yourself around. So sitting with your legs out in front of you. And then sitting up onto your sit bones. So we are going to come into Janu Shirasana. So you can use a strap here, you can use a block, or you could just maybe fold the mat over. We'll keep the right leg straight, and we're just going to bend the left leg in. So if you want to place a block underneath the left leg, then do. Otherwise, encourage it down, and then see if you can rotate round a little bit more so your spine kind of aligns with your right leg. And then as you inhale, we'll reach up with the arms. And on the exhale, we're going to fold in. So hands maybe towards the mat or onto your leg or your foot, or use your strap if you'd like to. Again, without grasping, see if you can embody grace here. When you're ready, we're going to slowly start to move up, so take your time. I'm going to keep this left leg bent, and you're just going to, you can either keep your right leg here, or you can bend it in behind you. So if it doesn't feel right with it bent in behind, then definitely keep it straight. So if you're bending it in behind, you've got the side of your mat, you can align that leg, the shin towards the side of your mat. So we're coming in for a twist. So we're going to use your right hand just on your left thigh, and then you're going to use your left fingertips behind you, and you're going to draw yourself around. So using your right hand, just very gently pull yourself around. And use the left hand to keep the spine nice and long, so we're not collapsing back into it. And when you're ready, inhale, come back towards the center. Now we're going to fold forwards now, so you might just move your hands forward and you could just stay here, or you could maybe move down a little bit more. And if you find it really hard coming down the center, then try going over towards your left leg and then coming down there. So that might feel a little bit easier. So whatever feels best to you, and see if you can just release a little bit. Relaxing the head and the neck. Softening in the areas of tension. Okay, we'll start to come back up. So use your hands, press yourself up, and then release your legs towards the front. As you come in, maybe just give your legs a little shake. We are coming in for the other side. We'll keep that right leg straight. Left leg straight, and we'll bend into your right leg. So Janu Shirasana first. So again, using blocks if you need to, or just encourage the leg down. Start to rotate a little, and as you inhale, we'll reach. Exhale, folding in. So again, hands just where they will go, without forcing ourselves to get there, making it more uncomfortable. If you can surrender with grace to where you are at. Our breath is a good indicator of grace. So if our breath starts to become ragged or uneven, then it's generally because we're not practicing with grace anymore. Okay, when you're ready, slowly come back up. So let's do the twist on this side. So we're going to use your left hand this time, just on your right thigh, and your right fingertips coming behind you, just where you want them to be. And then turn around. You might be turning the head here. You just see how it all feels. Try and keep a little flexion in your left leg, so you're not just letting it do what it wants, but keep it a little bit flexed. When you're ready, slowly back towards the middle. So again, as you come in, we'll keep the right leg bent, and either keep your left leg straight or bend the left leg in. So we are going to come in, first of all, we should have done that twist, shouldn't we? Don't worry, we'll just come forwards now. So you're either going to come forwards, so you can use your hands here, come down the center, or maybe move over towards that knee and collapse down there. But whatever feels best to you. Okay, when you're ready, slowly move your way back up. Now this time, both legs are going to come round towards the front. We're going to bring the soles of your feet together. So we're coming in for our Baddha. So if you'd like, you can have your heels quite far away, or you can move your hips closer in, or your heels closer in. Maybe take hold of your feet. So the idea of taking hold of our feet is we're actually trying to open the feet up so that the outside edges of your feet kind of touch and the feet open. But that takes a long time, so we'll just keep practicing it. So we have our feet there and our hands are just trying to prise them apart, if you like. And then you can use your elbows here. It's very gently pressing the knees open a little bit. And then if you feel like you want to, you can fold in. Just taking your time. Again, see if you can release and relax rather than forcing anything. When you're ready, slowly release, come back up. You can release your legs out. We are going to make our way onto our mats now. So we are going to come and do a bridge. So if you do want to use a block for that, then or 2 blocks, then you can grab them. So make your way onto your back, bending into your knees, feet hip distance apart. So when you're ready, we're going to lift the hips. And if you do want to use a block here, then just placing that block just gently underneath your hips and release down. Or keep pressing the hips up towards the sky a little bit more. If you want a little bit more than that, maybe moving your shoulder blades underneath your back and linking your fingers on your low back. Again, it's entirely up to you what you come into. Okay, let's take one more inhale. Now slowly releasing your hands or removing the block. Release yourself down towards the mat. And this time draw both knees towards your chest. Now we are going to come in for a twist here. So we'll keep the right knee in and then just extend your left leg so along the mat. And you can use your left hand here, just drawing that right knee over towards the left. So you might roll to the outer edge of your left foot as you do that. And you can continue to use that left hand to press the knee down. Maybe stretching your right arm away and maybe look along it. And you're ready, back towards the middle. So you can draw both knees in first. So we'll keep the left knee in, stretch your right leg away, and using your right hand, draw that knee over to the right. Turning the head towards that left side. And you're ready, slowly back towards the middle. And then just drawing the knees in towards your chest. So taking any final little movements. We are going to move into Shavasana next. So if you do want to hop on a jumper or some socks or something, then please do that. Take a moment to settle in. Just noticing how your body feels. Notice the state of your body without trying to change anything, but just mentally scanning your body for areas of tension. Take a deep breath in and out. Continue to take slow, regular breaths. Imagine that the areas of tension in your body relax a little each time you exhale. Starting with your feet, begin to relax your body. Notice that your feet are becoming warm and relaxed. Focus on your left foot. Feeling the bottom of your left foot becoming warmer. Feel your toes warming. And the top of your foot. Your entire left foot is warm. Notice now your right foot. Feel the sole of your right foot warming and relaxing. The toes of your right foot are also becoming warm. And the top of your foot. Your whole right foot is warm. A feeling of warmth and heaviness feels very pleasant. Feel the warmth in your feet. Continue up to your ankles and your legs. At the same time as the warmth is going in your feet and legs, turn your attention to your hands. Notice your right hand warming. Feel the warmth in each finger, starting in your fingertips. The warmth spreads to your fingers and your thumb, continuing to the palm of your right hand. Feel the back of your right hand warming as well. Notice your left hand becoming warm. From the tip of each finger and your thumb until your fingers and thumb are warm. Feel the warmth spread to the palm of your left hand and the back of your hand. Your left hand is completely warm. Feel the warmth in your hands increasing. Your hands are very warm, heavy and relaxed. The warmth continues to your wrists and lower arms. The pleasant feeling of warmth continues to your elbows, your upper arms, your shoulders. Your arms and your hands are warm and heavy. Feel the core of your body relaxing. A feeling of warmth begins in the center of your body, near your stomach. Feel the warmth growing to your chest, all the way up to your neck. The front of your body, all the way from your hips to your neck, is warm, heavy, relaxed. Focus on the small of your back. Feel this area warming and relaxing. Allow the warmth to continue from your lower back to your middle back and upper back. Your back is warm, very relaxed. Concentrate on your neck, feeling how warm and relaxed your neck has become. Feel the relaxation in your entire body. A feeling of warmth and heaviness. Very pleasant and relaxed. Take a few moments now to just relax, enjoying the warm, calm, peaceful feelings. When you're ready, we'll take a deep inhale, so just through your nose. And then just sigh out your mouth. We'll do that again, so just deeply inhale. And let it go. And we'll start to move a little bit through your fingers and your toes. Be stretching your arms over your head, just taking a full stretch through your body. And as you bring your arms over, just beginning to bend the knees and taking bigger movements, just whatever suits you. And if you want to roll over onto your side, then doing that. And just when you're ready, we'll start to make our way up. So take your time. Finding a comfortable seat when you're ready. Bring the palms together, so just in front of your heart. Just leaving a little gap just to signify an openness in your heart. Thank you so much for coming along and practicing with me this morning. Hope you enjoyed the grace practice that we did. Namaste. Okay, thank you very much. I'll just stop the recording and then you can unmute.